His warm and affectionate smile was his trademark, and his smile, like his personality, was not only endearing to his family, friends, and colleagues, but to his students as well.
He was affectionately known as, quote, the people's professor by our students, and I always loved to tell him how many seconds, not minutes, it took for his classes to reach the maximum registration numbers.
Born in Monroe, Louisiana in 1926, Mengis moved around frequently as a child. He later served in the Marine Corps in the waning years of World War II. Several years later, he served again, this time in the Air Force as a Judge Advocate General during the Korean War. In between his two stints in the service, Mengis graduated from the LSU Law School in 1950. Shortly thereafter, he set up a small practice in Baton Rouge with his fellow student and friend, Luther Cole.
Well, I met him in law school. At that time, his parents lived in Opelousas, and it was a good place to visit, and we became friends. And I got out in January of 1950 by going to a couple of summer schools, and he was still working on a degree from the campus, his undergraduate degree, and he finished in June. We formed a law partnership, Cole and Mengis, back in those days in North Baton Rouge. Almost immediately, he was recalled to service in the Marine Corps and shipped out to Japan during the Korean War. So then when he came back, we had things going well, and we continued practicing together until I went on the bench.
All told, Mengis practiced law with Luther Cole for 16 years until 1966, when Cole was appointed to the bench. In 1977, Mengis was appointed an adjunct professor at the LSU Law Center. After about 5 years in an adjunct capacity, Mengis joined the LSU law staff full-time. And the rest, as they say, is history.
He conveyed a combination of the practical and the academic in a way that people who don't have the extensive practical experience that Warren had simply, I think, don't have the ability to do with respect to bringing practice and theory to the classroom.
I'd go up to his office regularly and ask him for advice about how to do the class better. I'd ask him for advice about books because I'd selected a book without any real advice from anybody. And when it came to Louisiana applications of ethics matters, Warren was a good resource for me, and I'd go there often. He was always happy to see me, big smile on his face, and he'd say, "Hello, young fella, glad to see you. What can I do for you?" And we'd talk. So he helped me.
Well, he just made them comfortable in class. He knew that one way to teach was to get the confidence of the student and get along well with them outside of the law. And he gained their respect as an individual and through that as a law professor.
Professor Mengis was not only connected with his students at the law school, but he was also in high demand across the state when teaching CLE programs. Professor Mengis and Nelda, his wife of 51 years, have 3 sons, 2 of whom practice law. The third finished with an engineering degree from LSU. Professor Warren Mengis, who held the Joe W. Sanders Law Alumni Association professorship, taught full-time for 26 years. In May of 2008, he finally retired. Since then, the coffee hasn't tasted the same, says his former colleagues, and needless to say, the LSU Law Center, staff, and students have missed his warm, genial smile and his dedication to the profession he loves so dearly.
The school's a better school, and I think all of us who had the opportunity to learn from him are better teachers and better folks. Warren is really a fine man and was a great colleague.